So I often work with sellers who inherit property in California and become the successor trustee. Now, of course, they're interested in knowing what's entailed to sell a house when it is in a trust. Now, it may sound a bit intimidating, but selling a house in a trust has a lot of similarities to a normal sale. Now, at the same time, I will cover the additional items that are required to successfully sell a home that's held in a trust. Additionally, I will also address what happens if the trustee forgets to put a property inside a trust. Hi, I'm Harold Powell, a local real estate agent serving Ventura and the surrounding communities. So if you enjoy my videos and want to stay up to date on all things real estate for the Ventura and the surrounding areas, I suggest hitting the like, subscribe, and bell icon to be notified of future content. So, what is the purpose of a trust in California? Well, trusts are created so the beneficiaries have instructions on how assets are to be distributed. And the trust specifies a successor trustee, which carries out the directives outlined in the trust in the event of the trustee's passing. And the directives could include managing assets such as property and distributing income or assets to the beneficiaries. In the meantime, while the trustee that created the trust is alive, they can manage the real estate just as they would if title was still in their name. They can make repairs, refinance, or they can put the property on the market and negotiate a sale. So now let's address the three benefits of a trust when the trustee passes away. Number one, first and foremost, one of the key advantages of a trust when the trustee passes away is continuity. And unlike a will, which will require probate, the probate process will add to a more lengthy and expensive process to appoint a new executor, while a trust can continue to operate seamlessly with minimal disruption. And this is because trusts have a successor trustee already designated, ready to step in and manage the trust's affairs. Number two is privacy. Unlike probate, which is a public process that exposes your assets and distribution plans to public scrutiny, a trust administration can keep everything private. This means that you have your financial affairs and wishes remain confidential, providing a layer of protection for your family's privacy. Number three, trusts can provide protection against potential challenges or disputes that may arise after the trustee's passing. By clearly outlining your intentions and appointing a successor trustee to oversee your trust, you can help minimize the likelihood of conflicts among beneficiaries or other interested parties. Now, a very important note is that once the trust is created, the trustee will need to transfer ownership from themselves to the trust. Now, this typically involves changing the title of the property by recording a quitclaim deed to reflect the trust as the new owner. And the trustee should also need to set up bank accounts and investments with the trust name. Otherwise, they will be subject to probate as well. One of the problems that occurs is that the trustee fails to actually put the property in the trust, or while refinancing a property, the trustee takes it out of the trust and doesn't put it back in, which either one actually creates a real problem for heirs. All right, so let's say the trustee forgets to transfer their property into the trust. Now, normally this oversight would mean that the asset has to go through probate, which can be a time-consuming and costly process. However, with a Hagstead petition, the successor trustee can ask the court to recognize the forgotten asset as part of the trust based on evidence as the trust document itself and any supporting documentation that shows the creator's intent to include it in the trust. Now, typically in California, the successor trustee will need to file the petition with the probate court and along with evidence that clearly demonstrates the creator's intent to transfer the property into the trust. Now, this evidence could include things like emails, letters, or even handwritten notes that shows the creator's intention. Now, given that this is a legal matter, I recommend using a probate or trust attorney to navigate this process. And Once the petition is filed with the evidence, the court will review it and decide whether to grant the request or not. If the court approves the petition, the property will be transferred into the trust without the need for probate and can move on to selling the property. Now, if you are interested in buying out one of your siblings or beneficiaries, I suggest watching my video on how to buy out a sibling of a shared or inherited home. All right, so let's move on to what a successor trustee needs to provide in order to sell the property that is held in a trust. Now, in general, the process of how to sell a house in a trust in California will be very similar to that of a traditional sale. The primary difference is that instead of the name of the seller, the name of the trust will be used in the transaction. And in the event that the trustee has passed, the successor trustee will be the one responsible for signing all the contracts, escrow documents, and the grant deed. Now, here are the 4 special considerations to be prepared for in a trust sale that takes place in California. Number 1, the successor trustee will need to obtain a copy of the trust to give to escrow. Escrow and title will need to review the various pages of the trust to confirm your ability to represent the sale of the house in a trust. Number 2, a copy of the death certificate. This lets escrow and title know that you, the successor trustee, has authority to represent the sale of the property since the trustee has passed on. Number 3 is you'll need to obtain an EIN from the IRS. The EIN stands for Employer Identification Number. Now, if the trustee was still alive, they would just use their Social Security number. Otherwise, a successor trustee will need to go online and obtain an EIN number from the IRS to give to escrow. Number 4, the successor trustee will need to make sure that a bank account is open in the name of the trust. So that way, when escrow closes, they will be able to issue the check in the name of the trust and then not in the individual. So if escrow closes and there is no bank account with the name of the trust, then escrow cannot wire the funds until the account is open with a correct name. Or if you had a check, you wouldn't be able to put it in the account. All right, so if you found this video valuable, please like or comment below. Thanks.